Hey guys, what's up? What's up? What's going on? How's everybody? How y'all doing? What's going on in? Trying some different times of the day for these live streams. Just seeing if they can work, etc. Um, don't normally do live streams at this time, but hey, just wanted to do something different. So, welcome. We are here to talk about conspiracy theories, something that I think something that I personally have gotten very, very fascinated by the whole idea of conspiracy theories. That truly fascinates me. And today I want to talk about the top five most dangerous COVID conspiracy theories. The conspiracy theories that are seriously dangerous. Some of them are lunatic. Some of them, I guess, could make a little sense. What I found interesting is that with these conspiracy theory ideas, is how would I put this? They seem to come from all over the place. I very very often I can't even understand the logic. Like where would anyone have ever come up with this idea of for a conspiracy theory? So yeah, it's I started because of all the stuff that's going on in the last 12 months, and I started to research conspiracy theories, and I had no idea how many, how varied, how devoted people are to these ideas, how people have literally dedicated their entire concepts. And listen, I'm not laughing at these people. Like I said, I think some of these conspiracy theories, I can see where someone could come up with these ideas, but in general, I find them a little bit lunatic, a little bit manic, a little unhinged. Because the truth is, for you to believe a lot of these conspiracy theories, then you have to stop believing science as you know it. I mean, in other words, we need to just go back to the dark ages, because clearly everything in science doesn't make sense. And I think once someone has a platform, and you can find 10 people who will believe whatever you're spewing. I spoke the other day about the flat earth theory that made no sense to me. I cannot understand till today why anyone would ever believe that the earth is flat. It just kind of makes no sense. And again, I said, what I realized in speaking to some of the conspiracy theorists is that you can't really speak with them because they've suspended belief in science. So if you don't believe your ears and your eyes and the science, then you can't have a conversation with those people. And COVID, of course, has not missed this interesting kind of paradigm of very very interesting ideas. But I think the difference is that because of some of these conspiracy theories, they've done much more harm than good. And I wanted to discuss a few of these conspiracy theories in today's live stream. And like I said, we don't normally do live streams at this time. This is a little unusual for me. We don't really have many people in the live, but I'm just trying different things. So I'm really, really fascinated by conspiracy theories, how it is that people can suspend their belief in truth and reality. And I'm knocking them, but I'm saying bluntly that some of these conspiracy theories are inept at best. Make no sense. Because again, but then you can't have a conversation with those people because they have suspended belief in science. I mean, if the earth is flat, then clearly you don't believe in science, So that's why I've become so fascinated by this entire idea of the conspiracy theory. And I just think COVID really attracted a lot of these. So today we're going to discuss the top five, to me, most dangerous COVID conspiracy theories, the ones that have done a lot of damage. A lot of damage, But as we get into this, I try not to be judgmental of others, because I know, we are, hey, Vivette, what's going on? I know that we all have to have our own ideas, our own beliefs, our own theories. And I gotta respect the fact that people dedicate so much time to this stuff. But the truth is, a lot of these conspiracy theories make no sense. I'm just going to be honest. I've been sort of really getting into them, and there's so many conspiracy theories that I can't even understand where they would have come from. Like, why would anyone have believed this? Like who came up with the idea, for instance, that Bill Gates is trying to kill everyone? Why would Bill Gates want to kill everyone? I mean, what would Bill Gates gain from killing everyone? How would that work? Someone said, no, he's not trying to kill everyone. He's trying to kill all the poor people. So, okay, when he kills all the people, all the laborers, who's going to do the work? And someone said, computers. I said, but we're not even there yet. So he would be a little, unless they're doing stuff that we're not aware of. But I'm just here to point out to me what I consider to be the obvious. That the truth is, to believe a lot of these things, I guess you might call me a debunker. To believe a lot of these conspiracy theories, you really have to suspend your belief in mathematics, in physics, in biology, sociology, science in general. You kind of just have to not believe that any of this is true. You kind of just have to believe. You just weave some concept together in your head. And I'm going to say again, categorically, I can see where some of us would lean to some of these conspiracy theories, because some of them kind of make sense. Heck, I mean, of the thousands of conspiracy theories that I've come across, I'm really certain that they're just based on, just mathematically. Some of them are probably actually true. They've come upon something that makes sense, some of them I am interested in, like the murder of JFK, that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying that, hey, Verma, what's going on, bro? How you doing? I've been running your stuff. I've been running it. So, and like I said, this is unusual. I'm kind of just doing different times according to my mood, just to see the impact it would have on the stream. There are not many people in here, but I don't care. I'm having a good time, and hopefully you guys have a good time too. You'll learn something, or we will agree to disagree, or agree to agree. Anytime, bro. I'm trying to encourage everyone to go to your stream and do that, because you're so close. And I think as a team, as a family, we should just run your playlist. I mean, just get you to watch hours, because it's crazy. The other thing is different because you got the subscribers before you got the which is a little different. So I'm saying that I've just become so absolutely enamored by this idea of conspiracy theories that I've started just gotten into this, and I just realized that a lot of these ideas that we have as human beings, I mean, I get it. I get why. I think when we are terrified and when we are afraid, when we face something that we have no control over, or we do not understand, or that doesn't make sense to us, or when we encounter something that is so outside of the realm of logic, we run, or we make up stuff, or we try to find ways that make sense to us. And the COVID, of course, the pandemic, which hit in November of 2019 and really hit globally in March. I think it was March 20th of 2020. Really threw us all for a loop. So I can completely understand where all these conspiracy theories are coming from. But I'm going to say this again. Hey, Nell Court, how you doing? I can only say it's all right. I think that some of the theories are because we feel how we feel about ourselves. Segments of society seem to be expendable, no value, and easily replaced. Oh, that's a wonderful perspective. I've never even thought about that. But you could be right. You could be that actually makes sense. There's a logic to that, and maybe it's a combination of that and several other things. But I really believe that. I also believe that a lot of it is just fear. We're encountering things that we don't understand, that make no sense to us. I just getting into all these conspiracy theories, I really didn't realize that There's so many fringe ideas and fringe theories, and I really think a lot of it also has to do outside of Nelcourt's point. I think a lot of it has to do with being faced with something you have never come across before, and you just have no clue what the heck this thing is, and or how to deal with it. So you're gonna come up with ideas. And I also am stating that some of these conspiracy theories kind of make sense. They I can see honestly where some of the ideas that are being floated around in the stratosphere and atmosphere, there is a kind of logic to it, and I can actually see why many persons would sort of fall into the idea of these conspiracy theories. So, without further ado, let's get into number one. Of course, you know, people, you know, I always make my lists and stuff. All right. The first one, and I think the one that is most controversial for most human beings, is that COVID-19 was made in a laboratory. Now, I can perfectly understand where that would come from. Because again, this is something that seemed to have come out of nowhere. There was no antidote for it. There was nothing. It just came, you know, literally, it seemed to have come out of nowhere. But when I did my research, I realized that it really didn't come out of nowhere. There were clear indicators that they were coming. Vermin says, I disagree strongly. What do you disagree with, Vermont? I'm sorry, I didn't see that. You know me, man. When I start talking, sometimes I don't watch the screen, the stream enough. Bruh, what is it that you disagree with? You disagree with what Nelcourt said, or what I'm saying about the fact that a lot of it comes from fear, the fact that we are facing things that we don't understand, so we try to find a way to rationalize it. What is it that you disagree with, Vermont? Yeah, so the first one I want to talk about is, of course, that COVID was created in a lab. And honestly, I can completely understand where that came from. It makes sense. It makes sense to believe that this thing that came from apart out from left field that nobody saw coming was created by someone in a lab for some nefarious, you know, or reason, for some wrongdoing reason. We have a heavy ice melt. Things are exposed now that have never been in the millions of years. Germs that we no longer have the ability to fight. Bruh. See, that's why we get along, because that's one of the points I was going to make regarding this first thing about us making the COVID virus. That's one of the things I was going to point out. But let's start with the one that, because you started there, Vermont. I agree. The melting of the polar ice, and I mean, many scientists have expressed this fear that there are viruses and bacteria stuck in the ice that's been stuck there for 20,000 years. And we have no immune system towards, we have no way of fighting it. We have no clue about what these things are. And there's a general belief that there's tons of this stuff stuck in the polar ice. So, Verma, you hit number 3 for me. That would have been my third point, but we can start right there. It's a great point. The polar caps are melting. I think even those who don't believe in climate change will concede that without a doubt. Polar caps. We're seeing a lot of change, and the ice caps are melting. And if they're finding animals from 10,000 years, 15,000 years, kind of stuff, I'm really certain that outside of animals and bones and, you know, artifacts, they're probably going to be bacteria. There's probably going to be viruses that's been stuck in that ice in that ice for 10, 15, 20,000 years. And just like what happened when the European countries came over into the into the Caribbean and into South America and Central America. They brought simple viruses that they developed an immunity to at some point. But it wiped out millions of the natives, millions of the original peoples from these regions. And I think, Vermont, that's an excellent point. No one had to make this because it could have literally come from a melted polar ice, cap. That's one of the things, but that's one of the first ones. And now my other thing about this is people became so obsessed with this idea that someone made it in a lab and it was a weapon of mass destruction. It was there to kill off people, all these different things. I think, and I get it, I understand why it is important to know this. Vernon says they uncover things while mining that was in permafrost. It made a bunch of them sick. Yep. Yep. So I really believe that is because that's one of the points I have written down here. That most definitely, no matter what you want to believe, it is kind of evident that the polar caps are melting, and just like how they're finding all kinds of stuff that's 10, 20,000 years old there, they're probably going to find bacteria and viruses that we have no resistance to. And as like I said, what happened with the persons who were the original peoples of the Americas when the Europeans came over looking for gold, etc. They inadvertently not murdered, but they killed millions of the original peoples because they brought basic things that those people had no resistance to. I'm talking about sexually transmitted diseases that are not detrimental to the average person, but killed off those people. I'm talking about the common cold, flu, influenza, those basic things. Sorry, I'm not eco nut, but if you mess with Earth long enough, she will fight back. I'm not an eco nut either, bro, but I kind of believe that too. I believe that. I really believe that. I think a lot of people also want to believe this theory about the science is. Let me see, because I had this written down because I couldn't remember it. But the science apparently is that the SARS, that's the correct name for it. The SARS COVID-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, very likely occurred in nature and was not engineered. Neil Corey says, I have a spiritual idea that because everything is or has an evolutionary perspective, our Earth is protecting itself from the harm and entities that are human beings. Hey, Tony, I left a message to you. I wanted to know if I should have called you. I wanted to call you. Welcome to the live stream. I believe that also, Nell Court, because the Earth is a living organism. I mean, I don't think we realize that if everything on the earth is alive, then the earth itself is alive. It's okay, Tony. You need to not. How are you and Sid? You guys are okay? How is his temperature? Has it normalized? Is he all right? And how are you feeling, sis? I agree with you, Nelcourt. I think we don't seem to see the earth as a living entity. We see the living things on the earth and within the earth, but we don't recognize that the earth itself, alluding also to what Vernon Payne said, is a living being. And of course, like any living entity, if you attack it long enough, it's going to defend itself and it's going to fight back. And I genuinely believe that this is so. It's just that we don't see the earth as a living creature. We just don't. We kind of just see it as the earth, and we're living on it, and other things are living on it. So I agree with you. I agree with you completely, Vermont, and I definitely agree with you, Nelcourt, that the earth may be finding ways to almost shake us off, like a dog with flea. Not that I want to reference us as flea, but you get what I'm saying. But the scientists seem to believe, just as we seem to be agreeing here, that it wasn't engineered. It's a naturally occurring virus that we had not come into contact with. Hey, Marianne, how you doing? Um, how you doing? No problem, no problem. I hope you're having a good one at work today. So it's a naturally occurring virus, and we just stumbled into it. It's just one of those things. The other thing that I have long stated when people had this came to me about this idea of it being engineered is what I know of chemical warfare or biological warfare is that if you create something to cause harm, you normally have the antidote right there created because you don't want to hurt yourself or the people you are acting on the behalf of. So I think generally, my secondary reason for not believing that this is engineered, outside of the fact that I think the science seems to imply that it's naturally occurring. What Vermont and Nelcourt is saying makes a lot of sense to me, which is, yeah, it's just the Earth saying, "Hey, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of y'all." Vermont says, "Oh, so earthquakes are the Earth shaking us like a dog." Nice thought. I kind of think that sometimes, to be honest. Nelcourt says also, if we think about how young our nation is, that it have major growing pains. Uh, I will be listening. Okay, so I really believe that first conspiracy theory, the one about COVID being man-made, it doesn't really hold water. Plus, I mean, when you break down the actual COVID itself and you look at the structure of COVID, you realize that it resembles SARS. It resembles so many other things. So it doesn't seem to be something that is man-made. It's naturally occurring, and we came in contact with it. Whether it's something that came from the permafrost, like Bruce Verman Payne suggested, or it's something that uh, they're theorizing someone in Asia, someone in China ate a bat. The bat had the virus. The virus was able to mutate, jump into the human gene, which further mutated it, getting it airborne. So it went from someone consuming a bat. That's a theory that they have. Then it mutated, etc. And I mean that's feasible to me. So I think that's the first reason why I'm not going to say I scoff at the idea because anything is plausible, but I think it is highly unlikely. Secondarily, I'm saying that if someone had engineered this to impact the entire globe the way this had, they would already have had the cure literally sitting in their closet for their own safety. Because I mean, if it's airborne and it is so easily transmittable, the person who created it, unless they were suicidal, probably would have ensured that themselves and their family or whoever they're fighting for, if it was a cause, they would have had a cure for it. So that's the secondary reason that I kind of sort of quickly dismissed this idea that this is man-made, because it kind of made no sense. It took too long for the cure to come around, and it had such a devastating impact on the entire globe, and still is. Almost instantaneously, people. Like, this happened almost immediately. This thing shut the entire world, humanity down. It didn't shut down nature. Nature actually thrived. But I mean, and if anyone was going to be engineering this to attack us, it probably would have been nature, because nature seemed to have been the only entity that benefited from it. I think I said to you in a previous, and I think many of you already know this, that within 3 months of us, 2 months of us going, 6 weeks of us going down into lockdown, Venice saw fish again. People were able to see the bottom of the canal again. The atmosphere, the global atmosphere, it improved. Our air quality improved immensely. So I kind of think that the only person who really gained from this, unless you're Jeff Bezos and you had Amazon, was nature. So I really don't think it doesn't follow logic. But hey, I'm just pointing out what they state. The experts state are the other things. And I think because and this is what to me made it dangerous, because we became so obsessed with who created it and it being man-made, we didn't concentrate on the seriousness of it and how to tackle the virus and how to deal with the virus. That That's a serious. That was a huge problem, which led to the deaths of many persons and many of our loved ones. I mean, I directly lost. I lost my godson to this thing, and I lost other very close friends to this thing. So I'm talking about direct experience. The other thing, of course, is the other horrific and devastating conspiracy theory that arrived and that was perpetrated by world leaders is that it's like the flu, which is really dangerous. And I mean, I still think we're still seeing the consequence of this. Even here, where I'm in the Caribbean, there are people who don't, but who have said to me, COVID is just like the flu. And I'm like, well, if it's just like the flu, my godson had the flu many times in his life and he didn't die from it. And the way he died was horrifically painful. Horrific. But this idea still permeates the stratosphere. And I mean, I place this squarely at the feet of world leaders and people who others look up to for spreading this horrific falsehood that this thing is like. I mean, at no point in history has the flu killed so many people. It just never occurred. I mean, like it just never happened. Berman says, Peter, did you put the info above your name, CDC info? First time seeing this. No, I didn't. I did not. I suspect because I said COVID conspiracy, they probably put it there. That's scary, Berm. No, I did not. I did not put that there. I didn't put it there. But I can state unequivocally that this thing is not the common cold. It is not the flu in any way, shape, or form. It is airborne. It attacks your lungs, but it is definitely not the flu. It is a deadly illness that has killed people that I know who were relatively healthy human beings, some of them fairly young. It would be like saying that the Spanish flu was just a regular flu. But again, I mean, I cannot speak to why world leaders spread this insanity. Either they actually believed it, or and forget world leaders, because somebody can put something out in the atmosphere, but I think we're all intelligent human beings, and at some point our own brains kick in. But I'm going to go back to my default concept of why this became so embraced. Fear. People did not want to see and still don't want to understand that this thing is deadly. It's deadly. It's killing people. And it's not just killing more mature folks or people with underlying illness. Even healthy people are dying from this thing. So I think most definitely I'm going to state this unequivocally, that even if world leaders put this into the atmosphere, I think we're all intelligent human beings, and we should have been able to do. My father taught me, God rest his soul. My dad always said, ask questions. Don't just accept anything that someone says. Everyone has an agenda. I think I've said this on my channel repeatedly. We all, conscious or unconsciously, have some agenda. And I really think that for me is number 4. Number 5, of course, is that the COVID was made in a lab. I mean, that's kind of neither here nor there. But really, when we started to believe that this was just like the flu, it meant that we would not do the obvious things to protect ourselves, and in so doing, protect others. And what I think is really deadly about this particular thing, what's really frightening about COVID, is that it can slay in a host who shows no symptoms. With Ebola and with the Black Death, I hate the fact that they call that the Black Death. I'm going to be honest with you guys. But with those diseases, once you got it within a very short period of time, I mean, you are going to be showing horrific. It was highly unlikely that you were going to survive that. I think what's very deadly about this is that the people who spread it generally don't even know that they have it. They have no clue that they have it. So we cannot. So I think because of that, these falsehoods came into being. One, global leaders, and I'm not going to say any one person because it wasn't any one person who did that. Many global leaders misinformed the population, their populations, and said this thing is like the flu. People, COVID-19 is in no way like the flu. It is 100 times more deadly. This is a very serious illness. The flu can be deadly, but this is seriously deadly. I've seen the impact of this in a very direct way repeatedly. The other thing I think why people want to embrace this idea is that excuse me, because it only impacts maybe 6% of the society, meaning it's lethal to about 3% and it's seriously ill to about 6 to 7% of the people globally. I think many of us have not yet been in contact with anyone who has been directly impacted by COVID 19. So I think that's another reason. And human beings tend to function on the realm of if I can't see it, then it's not real. If I can't, what I mean? When you get the flu, you get the flu. You can tell that you have the flu. With this, like I said, the person spreading it can have it and not know because they show absolutely, they're asymptomatic. They show no signs of this thing. So for me, number 4 on the list of deadly, very, very deadly COVID conspiracy theories is this idea that this thing is just a flu. That really was deadly. And I think it led to millions of human beings dropping their guard and not taking this thing seriously because, we generally don't worry about getting the flu. It's just the flu. So for me, that within itself made this, for me, the number 4 most deadly COVID conspiracy theory, this idea that it's just the flu. Because let me state this unequivocally. I don't even need to follow the science. I've lost 7 people to this thing. It's not the flu. Unequivocally, it's not the flu. And plus, if you do your basic research, you'd realize that this thing is not the flu. I wish as human beings we would spend less time just accepting anything we're told and occasionally question. Jamaicans, we don't have a president, we have a prime minister. I question. Because someone is in authority doesn't mean they know everything. So I'm going to go and research it. And these points that I'm raising, I hope you all go and research it yourself. Don't just because I say it's true, that doesn't mean it's true. But COVID-19 is beyond a doubt not the flu. It is a far more deadly and dangerous thing. So for me, that's number 4 on my list. I don't want to keep this stream going on forever. Of course, everybody knows where I was going with this. This is number 3 for me. This is just deadly. It's deadly. I'm not American, so I don't understand the political aspect of this. But for me, this is just being considerate and again, world leaders sending out insane concepts into the ether. That people just embrace without thinking about it. Number 3 is the obvious, that masks do not work with COVID-19. Masks work. There is no doubt. They work. I recently had a conversation with someone who works in an organization in the Caribbean, and they had a meeting with a family, an entire family of people, and everyone in the family was wearing their mask except for the oldest person there. He was 91 years of age. I think, no, 81 years of age. Forgive me. She was 81 years of age. Forgive me. And what happened is, after the meeting, the person started to show symptoms. They tested her, and found out that she had COVID. Remember, they were all in a long seminar over many, many hours together in a fairly confined space, but everyone else was wearing a mask except for that lady. She's okay. She got treatment and she seems to be okay. But what is amazing is no one in that meeting caught COVID? No one did. The mask worked. The science is kind of obvious. And forget the science, it's kind of logical. If something is airborne and if you can cover your mouth and your nose to stop it, then clearly it's just logical. It must work. It's common sense. And if you can further shield your eyes, because most airborne substances assault us in our nasal, mouth, eyes. So if you can cover these things, most definitely. Mr. Fulton, yo, what's up, Peter? Today is me and my girlfriend Kathleen seven. Oh, congratulations! What's that's very cool. 7th year anniversary and just shared you out. Thank you so very much, bro. Thank you so very much. That is beautiful. Tell her I said hello. Tell her the entire stream says hello, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Love each other. Love each other. So, for me, number 3 in terms of very deadly conspiracy theories for COVID is this idea that masks don't work. And this is the thing that I don't understand. This is kind of like, you don't even need to be scientific. This is logical. In Japan, I don't know if you know this. This is long before COVID. In Japan, if a person doesn't feel well, they would walk around covering themselves in a mask. Because here's the other part of this. Even if you don't believe in COVID, let's say you don't believe it, even if you believe it was made in a lab, even if you believe it's just like the common cold, would you even want someone you care about to get the common cold, to get the flu? Just wear the mask. I mean, you might be uncomfortable for a couple of minutes, maybe an hour or two, but it's common courtesy, people. It's just common courtesy. It's just, you're just being considerate. You're being a good human being, and that's what you are. Most of us are not sociopathic or psychopathic. Most of us are decent. So even if you have and I don't want to get into politics because, like I said, I don't really understand some global politics. I'm just saying, out of courtesy. You know, when I was growing up, I was taught by my parents, if you're going to sneeze, you do this, or you step away. And I'm sure most of your parents taught you the same exact thing. So I'm just saying, out of courtesy, irregardless of whatever your beliefs are, whether you believe COVID is just a flu, whether you believe it's not real, it doesn't exist, I'm just saying. Shari, what's up? How you doing? Great one. People, Shari is an amazing artist, beautiful woman, beautiful human being, wonderful person. Go check her out, please. Shari Music. She is seriously talented. Hey Shari, what's up? I'm doing I normally do my lives later in the day, but I'm just doing some different stuff today, and I'm really fascinated, Shari, with conspiracy theories. So wanted to talk about this today. So great one, great queen. Hello and welcome. So I'm saying that even if you believe it was made in a lab, which the science obviously states it was not, and pretty much common sense says it isn't, even if you believe it's no more deadly than the flu, and I think the near 3 million people who are dead would disagree with you. What I'm saying is, out of courtesy, just good manners, just the fact that you are beautiful, amazing, awesome, good human beings, wear a mask, please. My godson would be alive today if that person had worn a mask. I mean, literally, he would be alive. Please, my friends. You're beautiful, amazing, considerate human beings. Irregardless of whatever politics, whatever concepts, ideologies, conspiracy theories you have, wearing a mask is just being courteous. You're just being a good human being. You're just being a good person. It's almost, Jamaicans have a saying, we say prevention better than cure. I'm going to say that again. Jamaicans say prevention better than cure. It means that it's better for you to prevent something from happening by doing something as simple as wearing a mask than regretting that you didn't do it. None of us would like to think that we caused illness, harm, or death to people that we love and care about. Wear the mask. It's just a few moments of discomfort. It has nothing to do with your politics. I mean, like literally, just common sense. You're bright people. It not nothing to do with your politics. Wear the mask. Um, Wear the mask because indisputably it works. I told you that story before, and if you go and check the stats, because I said it at the beginning of the series, because I've been doing a series on conspiracy theories. We're going to be doing another one next week. Is that I find many conspiracy theorists that I speak to have suspended their belief in science. So if you've suspended your belief in science, then it makes no sense we have a conversation, because it means that for you the earth is flat and we're all ants or something. I don't know. I'm just saying, out of courtesy, just courtesy, just courtesy. Because even here where I live in the Caribbean, I still walk into people in enclosed spaces. I'm gonna say, yo, put on your mask. I'm not asking, put on your mask or come out. You're not gonna kill me and my family because you're an asshole. Sorry, guys. Just be considerate. Irregardless of anything that you believe, just be courteous. You know, how is it going to hurt you? You're going to be uncomfortable for 5 seconds. You're not going to be as good looking as you always look. And actually, some people, I kind of think I look better in the mask, to be honest with you. Anyway, I'm just saying, be considerate. The idea of mask not working for me is number 3 on the most deadly. Hey, cuz, what's going on? How are you? How you doing? People, that's my cousin. She's the sweetest person ever. The idea of the mask not working is a truly deadly and dangerous concept that has cost many lives. Wear the damn mask. They work. The science is indisputable. The common sense is indisputable. Just wear the mask. So for me, that is number 3 on my all-time most deadly list, right? Shari, I know it. I picked that up enough. Wear the mask, please. Okay? You don't have to believe in it. All right. Now, here we get to number 2. And I'm going to have some honorable mentions, because there's one honorable mention that I think is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. And I'm going to say this again. I've gotten into the whole conspiracy theory thing in the last month, and some of these, 1 in every 2,000-3,000 conspiracy theories may make sense. There might be some logic to it. I can get it, but most of them seem to suspend their belief in reality. And I'm not knocking anyone, because you have a right to believe what you want to believe. But there are some things that I think make no sense. And here is number 2 of my top 5 most dangerous COVID conspiracy theories. And this one is a big deal in Jamaica and the Caribbean and globally right now. Here it is. They believe that the vaccine, the cure, is going to genetically alter your DNA. I want to hear what I'm saying. They believe that the vaccine is going to alter your DNA. 1. 2, some conspiracy theorists also believe that the vaccine is designed to kill people of color. Okay, all right, just saying this. Number 3, all in the same thing about what the vaccine is designed to do. They also believe that the vaccine was somehow sponsored by Bill Gates. This one blows me out of the water. And Bill Gates and other super powerful, wealthy people have conspired. First of all, they created COVID, released it in the atmosphere. And their long-term plan is to give us a vaccine that is going to kill all poor people. I'm sorry, guys. These are the most ridiculous concepts ever. Oh, there's one more. They're giving you the vaccine. This is for the fundamentalists now of certain religions. They're giving you the vaccine to imprint the 666 code on you. No. Oh, and there's one more. They're giving you the vaccine so that they will be able to track you forever. Now, let me just debunk everyone one by one. Last one first. They can already track you. Most of you, if not almost all of you, have a smartphone. Everything you do on that smartphone is recorded. They know every porn site you go to if you do that. They know every WhatsApp you send to the person who's not your husband or your wife. They know where you go. They know what you like to eat. They know pretty much everything about us. The entire subsistence, people, of Facebook literally is to sell your information. Most of these companies know pretty much everything about you, so they don't need to give you a vaccine for that. That don't make sense. Two, vaccine scientifically cannot alter your DNA. We have not gotten there yet. That's science fiction. There is no scientist on earth. They're probably experimenting with it. There are few who have tried it, but they really can't rewrite your DNA as yet. We might be 40 years away from that. That doesn't make sense. Three, I want you to grasp this. If the wealthy kill all the poor people, who's going to do the work? Computers have not yet gotten to the point, or machines have not yet gotten to the point where they can do everything, or even most things. So none of these concepts. I mean, when I heard that thing about Bill Gates, I just thought that was the funniest thing I've ever heard. None of these things make sense. But here's the sad thing. I can completely understand. Oh, and the 666 thing. I don't know, but I went back and I read the Bible and I realized that's really not what the Bible said about 666. Pretty much the mark of the beast, according to the Bible, is supposed to be physically visible on you. You can't do that with the vaccine. So it would either be here or here, but it's going to be physically on you if that's the kind of thing you believe in. So even that doesn't follow logic. So I'm saying that, and here's the other thing too. Most people in the Western world have at least 3 or 4 vaccines in them already. Most of us have gotten a measles vaccine. We've gotten a polio vaccine and several others. Most human beings living in a relatively advanced country have crap loads of vaccines in us. And I'm talking about not long ago. All right. The other thing that I've heard about the vaccine is that it must be for a nefarious reason. Nefarious, of course, means bad reason. Because the vaccine was made too quickly. The thing is that they had already been working on SARS type vaccines because, you know, there was a SARS epidemic maybe 7 or 8 or 9 years ago. So they simply had to modify it. Plus, the same way 15 years ago, we couldn't really do this technologically, vaccine technology itself has also improved. So I wasn't really shocked that they got a vaccine relatively quickly. It wasn't as quickly as we'd like to think, but relatively quickly. However, I do understand why many of you are skeptical about getting it. No problem with that. But I don't know about you, but when I get access to it, I'm getting that as fast as I can humanly get it. I've done all the research on it, and they seem to be pretty okay. They're no more deadly than pretty much any of the other vaccines that we take. So I'm just saying to you, before you take the vaccine, just do a little research. But all these things about 666 and rewiring your DNA, they kind of really don't make much sense because they're illogical, and they don't need to give your DNA a vaccine to follow you. Because listen, people, the other day I don't really eat like certain things. And the other day I accidentally I was scrolling through my phone and I tapped on milk. Most of you would know I don't consume flesh, so I don't drink milk, cheese, butter, none of those things. I haven't done that for like 20 years. I don't remember what those things taste like. But I accidentally tapped on, like I was scrolling, and I probably did it too hard and tapped on milk. For about 3 days after that, I kept getting ads for milk. They're already following us, people. They pretty much they can probably locate us once we have a phone, a smartphone, that is. You want them not to follow you? Stop using a smartphone. That's all I gotta say. All right. Number one. Number one for me. And I found this one really interesting. And I mean, the others are pretty deadly. But for me, this one was, hold on there. Let me make sure I got it. Yeah. I messed up. That the vaccine was supposed to be number one. This is actually number two. So I messed up, people. Forgive me. Hey, don't worry about it. It's that COVID comes from 5G. What? How would COVID come from? Who comes up with this stuff? How would that be? Just so why didn't it come from 2G or 3G or 4G or 1G? I'm trying to understand. Listen, when I start to realize a lot of this stuff, it makes no sense to me logically. I mean, listen, you want to believe that? It's all good to you, but I'm saying it's not logical. It doesn't even follow basic common sense, much less science. That makes no sense. I didn't even know how to tackle that when I saw that. I said, what? Why would anybody believe this? People believe that COVID came from 5G. What? I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean, all right? I'm not knocking y'all. But that just makes no real sense. It is illogical because you would have to explain to me why it didn't happen, why we didn't have a lesser impact from 4G or 3G or 2G or 1G. Why 5G? Couldn't it be 7G whenever that comes around? What about 10G? I really have no idea how people come up with these ideas. I tried to follow the logic of the 5G thing, and it was so illogical, I could not follow it. Now, I admit that I'm not the brightest candle in the wick, I'm no genius, but that made no sense to me, people. I did not understand that one. Not even slightly did I understand that. I just couldn't understand what I mean. Okay, let me tell you what my notes say. Hold on, let me see if I can find a note. A lie connecting to 5G high-speed wireless technology to COVID-19 symptoms started spreading across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram not long after the pandemic struck. All right. By early April in the United Kingdom, people started protesting and setting fire to 5G towers. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Vermont, I was about to say the same thing. Vermont, I remember being much, much younger. And I remember when in 1999, we were told that all the space debris and all the satellites were going to drop out. Did you remember that, Vermont? That all this stuff was going to drop out of the sky because some technology thing that the clocks would have to go back to zero, so they would all listen to me, people. Look, I love you guys. I love human beings. I genuinely love people. I think generally most of us are good people. I think most of us, when we do things that are not positive, it's not only because we're uninformed or we're terrified or we're suffering from low self-esteem. I really, really believe this. I think most of you are super bright, certainly much brighter than I am. So you might have your reasons for this, but let me tell you, 5G has nothing to do with COVID. There is, listen, I could not even find when I went to, because I researched these 6 people, and Vermont, these guys, they know what I'm like. I could find no logical, even the math stuff. I could find some kind of logic to it, although it was ultimately illogical. But this made no sense. Vermin says yes, and sitting too close to the color TV would cause cancer. Yes, I heard about that one, Vermin. I really did. Look, once human beings are confronted with any, people hate change. You understand me? A lot of the stuff happening right now in the beautiful, amazing country of the United States. And I'm saying the beautiful, amazing country of the United States because the people of America are great. Just like why I think the people of Africa, the people of Jamaica, the people of Canada, I love people. I think human beings in general are amazing, beautiful, lovely beings. And sometimes we act often out of fear. You know, I always say on this channel, my dream is to create a world where we are all self-confident, where we understand our value and our purpose and how amazing we all are. And I think a lot of what's happening now in that beautiful country, that amazing country, is fear of change. People are just afraid that their world is changing. Just like how they believe that 5G is going to do somehow damage. I guess we believe that if the social structure of our society changes, we're going to be terrified. But let me tell you this: all these things resulted in our world being better, not worse. You know, Vermont, I didn't even remember the thing about colored TV, but you were right. They said colored TV would give you cancer. Vermont, you know what was a good one? Hey, Thursdays, child, how you doing? We are discussing the top 5 worst COVID conspiracy theories. How are you doing, beautiful? How are you doing? I agree, Vermont, but most people are petrified of fear. I remember being very, very young, living in Jamaica. And I remember some of the older men that used to be around my dad. I was maybe like 6, 7. They said that seatbelts would cause more deaths because, I mean, anything that ask us to change. Cell phones were going to give us cancer. What was this other one? Oh, I don't know if you remember this one. Vermont, I'm trying to remember. Oh, yes. Playing video games would make you stupid or make you violent. There is no scientific proof to this. And look how many people now make money from literally playing video games. Look, people, the world is going to change. One of the great things about being human beings is our capacity to adapt to any situation. I am Rastafarian. You see, in Jamaica, 30 years ago, in some instances, the police would stop me and cut this off my head. Why? They were afraid. Listen to me. Human beings are petrified of fear, of change. But Vermont is right. The world is going to change. All these things that you are clinging to, it is in your best interest to adapt. One of the greatness about human beings is our adaptability. This is why we managed to survive. 5G did not create COVID, okay? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And I've heard many ridiculous things, just like Vermont pointed out. Just like when in 1999, the last year of 1999, the last day, when it turned 2000, everything would drop from the sky. We are afraid of change. And instead of informing ourselves, we act out of fear. I'm going to say this to you, my beautiful American brothers and sisters of all hue. Embrace the change. Diversity is a beautiful thing. Embrace change. To live in fear is a horrible way to exist. Living in fear is never to your benefit. So those are my top 5 most dangerous COVID conspiracy theories. And based on my own limited research, None of them hold any water. All of them, and let me go through them very quickly before I close the stream. All of them are pretty much nonsensical. Starting at number five. Number five is COVID was made in a lab. There is absolutely no scientific reason to believe this. There is no science behind that. And if they had made it in a lab, I'm going to say this again, they would have already had an antidote. And this thing impacted the entire globe. So some people said China did it. Well, China wouldn't have locked down and would not have had suffered such horrific impact. Plus, remember, China makes most of its money from exports. So killing the world economy would cripple China. So it made no sense. Number four, I skipped over this, unfortunately. COVID-19 comes from 5G. I just stated that. There is not even within the conspiracy theory that makes sense. And I'm going to say it again. Vermont was kind enough to state it. Every time we are confronted with change, I've been told this crap. Cell phones were going to do this. Color TV would give us cancer. Seatbelts would cause more death. At the end, the turning of the century, when we went to the year 2000, all the satellites and stuff would drop out of the sky because they had to reprogram or something like that. I've heard this stuff, I mean, my entire life, and consistently it has been absolute nonsense. Glorious Life on Wheels says, hello everyone. When people are scared, they make up scary explanations for their fear. I said it earlier in the stream, Glorious Life on Wheels. Welcome. How are you doing? How are you doing? Yes, very, very true. Vermin Pace, oh yes, I remember that. They even tried to stop seatbelts in the Congress. It's science. Look, the world is changing at a rapid pace. So that 5G thing, I could see no logic in it. I mean, some of these things I can get into. I can understand why they would think it was created in a lab, but it just wasn't. There is no proof of that, but I get it. But some of these other things, like the 5G thing, that's just insanity. COVID is the same as the flu. Listen, I lost 7 people I love to COVID, including my godson. It is not the flu. Please stop spreading that nonsense. It is not the flu. The flu cannot kill this amount of people. It's not the flu. Read a book. Get educated. Don't just listen to someone who you think is your superior. Inform yourself. This is not the flu. All those dead bodies did not die from the flu. Please, please. You are beautiful, smart, amazing creatures. Stop embracing this madness. Okay, let me keep going. So that is for me number 3. All right. Number 4 is masks don't work. We don't even need to have that conversation because I think even the people who say that know that's nonsensical. And I'm saying, okay, even if you believe that, because you're a good, courteous human being, because you are considerate of others, because you love your family, wear the mask. Just put on the darn mask. Even if you don't believe in none of this stuff, better to err on the side of judgment. As we say in Jamaica, we say, I forgot. Anyway, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Better to be safe than sorry. So just wear the mask. Do not allow others to manipulate you. Think. Just think. Wear the mask. You're helping yourself, you're helping other people. And should this thing not be real, who cares? You wore a mask for a few hours, it ain't gonna kill you. All right? And by the way, I've heard people say that I can't breathe with the mask. Really? What is your mask made from? Plastic? All right. Okay. Let me continue. Glorious Life on Wheels says, since when does the flu have the long-term conjugate? Well, I mean, Glorious Life on Wheels, I guess, you said it. People, because of how terrifying this thing was when it came along and still is, we are afraid, so we got to make up stuff. We have to find ways to fight the science, and Vermont pointed it out. That the truth is, we've fought science every step of the way. Every step of the way. You do know that there was a time when, if someone came into a village and figured out that the plague was caused because of people being unsanitary. So they clean up this village, and the villagers survive the plague and they don't get it. If it was a woman, they would have eventually hung her for being a witch. So we've come a long way, but we're gonna always have to grab a few people kicking and screaming into the future. Like I said, I have a great belief in human beings. Yes, glorious life on wheels. I did a whole stream on that about the world being flat. But I get it. All I want these persons to do is just get informed, be informed, just read, and sometimes it's just common sense. Just common sense. Wear your mask, people. Even if you don't believe it, even if you're making this one baffled me about America because I didn't understand this one about politics. I don't know how a mask can be a political statement. That's the craziest thing. That literally makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's a mask. It's like saying wearing a watch is a political statement. What does that even mean? You guys are way too intelligent. And listen, it's not just America here, trust me. That problem is global. Even we have it here. People say, "Me now wearing a mask, me now wearing a mask, I can't breathe. And a Babylon, a fight me down." Just wear the mask. You are not willing to be uncomfortable for a few minutes to ensure that the people you love are okay, even if you don't believe this. You are better than that. You are amazing, beautiful, awesome, intelligent beings. Okay, that's number 3 on my list for most dangerous COVID conspiracy theories. Masks don't work. It's a lie. Masks work. Okay, I think I may have jumped the gun. All right, people. I tend to do this. I said the flu. All right, so COVID was made in a lab. Nonsense. COVID comes from 5G. There's absolutely no proof to that. Just makes no sense. And we have heard that over and over. And when they invent 5G or 10G, you're going to hear something else. So that's always going to happen. Also nonsense. And like I said, I've come across conspiracy theories in my research recently, and I'm going to do a couple of those that could actually be true. These are nonsensical. All right. COVID-19 is a flu. That's number 3. It definitely is not a flu. Flu don't kill people like this. And people are really dying. I lost 7 people last year, including my godson. So it's not nobody made this up. Masks don't work. Really dangerous. That's number 2. Vermin says glorious life on wheels. How it does the water. And number 1, of course, is that the vaccines will change your genetic code. The fact of the matter is that we are not yet capable of doing that. That's science fiction. And genetic code can't be changed like that based on my reading. There's no way of doing that. Plus all the other things that come along with the vaccine, that the vaccine is here to kill poor people. That makes no sense. Who is going to do the labor? We don't have enough computers and our machines, our gadgets to do them for us. I can just keep. Bill Gates does not have a plan. If he does, it can't be connected to this, where he's planning to kill off people of color with COVID vaccine. That again makes no sense. Like I've said, all of us living in a relatively stable place we have vaccines in us. We all have the polio vaccine in us. We all have measles vaccine and other vaccines. Most children born in the Western world are vaccinated, and in most countries that are relatively advanced, they don't even have to be no super country. We all, so and if people want to track you via vaccine, they already track you on the phone. Everything we do. Listen, as I load up something on my YouTube channel, YouTube can tell me within 10 seconds if it can be monetized or if there's a copyright, whatever against it. So listen, none of that makes sense. People, go read the science. Don't just listen to me. I'm not all-seeing and all-knowing. I'm not omnipotent. I'm just saying, logically, a lot of these things, these ideas make no sense. Thank you for hanging out with me. I know it's an unusual time, but thank you so very much. I'm just experimenting with different times, guys. I did a stream the other day. It was one person in the stream. That was kind of, but it was cool. It was a good stream. So thank you all. People who are still here, Vermont is very, very close to getting his 4,000 watch hours. I've been running his playlist. Please join me and just run his playlist. If you can even do it for an hour, just help our brother out. He's our brother. He's good people. Vermin Paint is a good human being. So please help him to get monetized. He's a good person. Please, guys. So I've been running his. I ran it a couple of days straight, and then I've been running it on and off. So if you want to get the opportunity, go head out to Vermont Paint and just go do that, please, guys. All right. Thank you guys for coming by with my fascination to this, and you know, I love all of you. I see you guys very, very soon. Peace out. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. I hope you learned something from the stream and it made sense. All right. Okay, guys. Oh, by the way, very, very quickly, go check out. I just premiered my something. Go check it out. Go check it out. All right. Go check out my newest premiere. It just started. Go check it out. All right, guys.